This is the 285th episode of CloudFocus Weekly for the first week of July 2018. This episode is titled Hot Breaks. CloudFocus Weekly is brought to you by Clone This User. Boom. Duplicates you'll love. Clone an existing Salesforce user with a click of a button via the desktop or in Salesforce One Mobile. Available for free on the App Exchange. Both the App Exchange is written in front of me. Good type, good copy editing. Or you can just go to clonethisuser.com. My name is Jason Atwood, and I am your host. Joining me, co-host, 285 times in a row on our road to 300. This is Justin Elstein. Justin, how are you?
Longest road ever.
It's the longest road ever.
A lot of sharp turns.
So some people have been... By the way, we're live in Studio 3A today, 29B, 9J. These are just numbers. And it's hotter than blazes outside here in New York City. And so we have the AC on, kind of on.
Well, it's on.
It's on. I'm sitting here sweating. So if you hear a little background noise, that's because the AC is on. And if you don't hear Bird, that's because we're not in the studio with Bird. But Bird is alive and well, just in case you're wondering. So, yeah, on the road to 300, we did some math in the beginning of the year, and we knew that we had to slow the pace a little bit as we went. We knew we couldn't go full, every week because we'd get to 300 before Dreamforce. So we slowed down. Then we realized, actually, someone pointed out to me the other day that even if you did one a week for the rest all the way to Dreamforce, you'd be under 300. So now we're gonna pick up the pace. So you get a little summer love. Let's call it the summer of CloudFocus Weekly. So you're gonna get a lot of podcasts in the next 5-6 weeks, which is good. And since we slowed down a lot, I want to say first and foremost, we have a lot of blog content out there. The blog continues. The podcast, terrible. We are terrible keeping up with it, but the blog, forever good and really keeps going. Actually, I think that brings us to one of the first things to talk about is the website relaunch. So we relaunched our Arkus Inc. website, and so for the blog as well. So we don't really talk about the Arkus side of it, but there's a blog post about why the redesign and how it worked, and sort of like the design choices and the platform it's on, all sorts of fun stuff. But since you guys are listeners to the podcast and maybe blog readers, kind of wanted to focus in on that. The blog got a lot more simplified from a design standpoint, and we added a couple new features, like being able to see the date of which the blog post was published. We also now have someone curating the blog a little bit more and designing custom images and things like that. So you'll see, if you go to blog.arkusinc.com, you'll see a lot of sort of a new change and a new look and feel, and some new features on it. So take a look at that, enjoy it. If you want to read more about it, go to the blog and search for Arkus website. You'll find the whole blog post about the redesign. Am I going to do this podcast by myself today?
Well, do you want me to interrupt you in the middle? Like, what do you want me to do? Should I just stop?
Yeah.
Don't talk.
What's your thoughts on the redesign?
It's terrible. Catherine did an amazing job.
Yes, Catherine did. So, anyway, that being said, there's also way too much content for us to cover. Like, we would have to actually blog every week if we wanted to keep up.
Because we have more than one blog going out every week nowadays.
Yeah.
It seems like it's hot and heavy.
Yes. So, and we have people writing not only Summer 18, but like all sorts of topics, all Salesforce related, but we now have success stories going up. I mean, it's just, there's a lot.
Profit Cloud announcements, success stories.
Here's all these things that we're not going to talk about.
Certification exam stuff. How to train like a teacher, which is a really good one.
Yep. Here's the thing. We, as podcasters, are slowing things down because we have so many people now at Arkus. Not so many, but more people. So there's a lot more content out there, which is great. For you, the reader of the blog, much more content. For us, as podcasters, when we used to have one a week, and we used to podcast weekly, we could just read the one thing and move on. So I think we're making a little change. We're not going to be able to read every single one because it's not scalable, not a scalable solution. So we will try to maybe bundle them or handpick them or talk about ones that are, that coincide with what we're talking about on the podcast. So for those who loved listening to their blog posts get named or read, maybe we'll figure out a way to literally just highlight what's on the blog, but maybe not talk about each one. We'll say, here's the things that came out in the blog in the last X period of time, and you can go read on them. But we're not going to go in depth on each one because it's too much. We can't do it. Content-wise, can't do it. Content is king. So that was the relaunch. In other news, in our agenda here, we also have. I think we talked about this though. We talked about the retirement in the last one, didn't we? We didn't talk about this.
I don't know. You put this together.
No, I think and we actually talked about the relaunch website, so we don't have to talk about that.
All right, all those things happen.
So let's talk about let's
delete. That was easy.
Let's talk about. Do you want to talk about compliance locker? I think we talked about this.
You just said we talked about it.
All right, we talked about it, so we don't have to talk about that again. All right, next
up on this agenda that's not working.
Not working at all.
How about we talk about summer? Because it's hot.
I thought you want to talk about data breach.
Summer.
Let's talk about data breach. But that's actually news.
All right, go ahead.
Data breach. No. This is your topic.
Data breach. Oh, you have Facebook data breach.
I didn't write that.
I didn't write that.
You wrote that.
I could not have written it. I don't go into these things.
Oh, no. And this is not the Facebook data breach. This is your data breach that you want to talk about.
My Adidas data breach?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm not happy with this.
So go ahead
I
and
have
tell us.
picked twice on this podcast.
Yep.
Adidas sneakers. Literally the sneakers.
Yes.
And the app that goes along with it.
Yep.
Because Salesforce runs the Adidas commerce and some of their marketing staff. And it's kind of impressive what they're able to do.
This is true.
But I get an email warning me and telling me that there's been a data breach with Adidas. And some data could have been compromised, although they had assured me that no credit card information had been given away or what have you. So yeah, you're pretty adamant this isn't a Salesforce thing, otherwise we'd have heard about it in some other way, shape, or form.
Well, that was your point, was that, hey, it's a data breach of Adidas. Adidas has their front end on Salesforce. Why is that not a Salesforce data breach? Right?
Well, it was just Salesforce. Whoa.
If Adidas' only data source and their only server was in Salesforce, I'd be like, oh, okay, then it's obviously Salesforce. But we know it isn't. It's not.
But do we? How do we know?
All right. Because I think there would be a lot of people trying to put that into the news and PR statements.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
You do know that if Salesforce had a data breach from a massive Commerce Cloud, whatever, installation, it would be hitting the news. They would have to say, it's part of the regulations, they have to say if there's been a data breach. I don't think it's Salesforce. That being said, here's a question for you.
Well,
do you think it's just a matter of time?
Yeah.
Is it they're gonna get hacked.
Sorry to say. Hopefully none of our clients are listening. But yeah, as more and more, kudos to them for not having had this happen to them yet. But as they continue to grow by acquisition and purchase all of these, as far as I know, Adidas uses Commerce Cloud and Marketing Cloud, not a thing developed by Salesforce from its core.
Right.
So I don't know. And when they say your data's been breached, they're not like Microsoft SQL Server ... got breached. They just say your data. They don't say the company or what tech or whatever.
That's
so
true.
you're pretty confident in this. I'm like, don't know. All I know is I go on Adidas's website all the time, and a lot of times I buy things.
Half of this podcast is listening to you go.
Me just
make
grunting.
grunting.
Well,
is it because it's 97 degrees in here?
I'm out of practice.
You
this
are a little
whole
bit.
podcasting thing's very foreign
Well,
to
you
me.
better get back into it. Yeah. I don't know. There's the other one story that you highlighted and said, that that one of the other companies that got hacked was Delta.
Yeah.
And I went to go find the story, and it seemed like it was from a while ago, so it wasn't recent. But as someone who uses Delta and not only keeps, okay, I have my credit cards in there, oh, that's bad. I have flight information, all right, that's okay. But then, oh yeah, my passport's in there.
And your known traveler number.
Yeah, that actually gets me a little scared. Like,
your number that the government keeps track of where you're going.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't care if
that's in there.
If the government wants to hack them, they can hack them all they want. But yeah, so Delta and holding your passport number, that makes me a little uncomfortable. A little uncomfortable with the old passport number. And I think isn't social like one of the things you pump in there?
Not me.
No. I feel like it's one of the numbers you put with your passport.
Your social security number.
Yeah.
I thought you meant social, like Twitter.
No.
That's where my head's at.
No.
Like, they can have my Twitter handle.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that just a lot of the R&D and money that Salesforce makes from all of our expensive licenses, that a lot of it's going towards their data security. I mean, we always made the comment that, they guard their servers with armed guards, but these aren't people who are coming in physically. These are coming in through other means, through the interwebs. But it gets kind of scary.
Yeah, it's not
cool. I just
cool.
don't think that if Salesforce gets hacked, if it's going to be a hack, it's going to be some sort of social hacking to get into one customer segment. It's not going to be getting into all of Salesforce. Just because of the way we know that they're architected, you can't really get access to everything unless you have all the encryption for every org, which we know is all done at the org ID. Like, that's almost impossible. So, yeah, you might be able to get to something, but it would be into like one org, because one org got hacked because someone, got socially manipulated. Like someone came into an office and, sat down at someone's computer and their Salesforce is open and the person ran some reports and did something bad like that. I don't think it's going to be across the board just because of the way it's architected.
I just don't know if you'd ever hear about the technology behind it. I feel like you always hear company like Target gets hacked.
But later on, they have to report on what happened, and they do, and they come out and they say what happened. They say it was this level of our servers, they were sitting at this thing, they were behind these firewalls, here's our, they have to produce that. We just don't read those articles because they're not interesting. But in, IT Monthly, there's a full thing of what happened.
IT Monthly?
IT Monthly.
Not weekly?
Server stack.
IT whenever?
IT whenever. Anyway, so you wanted to discuss that because you think there's a connection to Salesforce.
I know there is.
Right, but it's not Salesforce data.
It could be. It's the data that I put into the system via Salesforce. How about that?
Maybe.
How else did they have my data?
And maybe it was sunk off to some other,
Yeah, but the collection point
yeah,
was Salesforce.
I just don't know enough about their technology stack to know that. I don't know where all their data goes and syncs and back
I've
and
never ever said anything about where it goes. I said where I put it. I put it into Commerce Cloud. That's where I put it.
Yeah.
I know that much.
And then they
That's
sync
all
it off
I
to
know.
someplace
Nope,
else.
don't know that.
I know.
Well, you don't know it either.
Oh,
You said I know, but you don't. You don't know where it goes. All we know is where we put it.
Yeah, but even to say that you think that you put it in Commerce Cloud is kind of, you actually don't know you're putting it in Commerce Cloud.
I do know I put it in Commerce Cloud.
You don't see the back end. You don't know where it goes.
It goes into Commerce Cloud. I know exactly where it's going.
Yeah?
Yes. That's where it starts. I'm sitting on an app that is powered by Commerce Cloud.
I know, but you don't actually know where it's going. You think it's going to Commerce Cloud. It could go through 3 gateways before it gets to Commerce Cloud. I could put things on forums that look like they're going one place and go someplace else.
It's not on forums. It's on the Commerce Cloud. It's not like a thing where you've front-ended the Commerce Cloud. Commerce Cloud is more of a front-end thing.
To what?
I don't care. That's the whole point.
And
I
then
shouldn't
we
have to
reached
care.
the end of Justin's knowledge about Commerce Cloud. We just dug 1 inch deep into...
My knowledge is more wide than deep.
1 inch.
It's more wide.
I just blew off the dust that covers your knowledge.
My knowledge is more. It's more like
we hit it. There it is. There's the end of the knowledge.
It's more wide.
Yeah.
It's more of like a horizontal than a
layer.
vertical.
It's more of a thin layer. It's a thin layer of knowledge.
All right, let's move on to other things I don't know anything about.
All right. Now that's good. That's a lot of things. All right. Why don't we talk about some of we've posted since summer 18 has hit us and we're in the midst of it. Why don't we cover some of the bigger summer things that have come out in the way of mentioning a few more summer 18 blog posts?
Sure.
Which one do you want to hit?
Ideas delivered?
Sure.
Did you know
I did.
that 65 ideas were delivered in summer 18, retiring a total of 341,250 points?
That's a lot.
It kind of is. It is a lot.
So I'm going to call a little bit of cheatsies, though.
Total cheatsies.
Cheatsies is when you retire a highly pointed or voted for idea that came about because something else you built. So if I build something really bad and everybody goes and builds an idea that's like, this is terrible, and then you retire that, it's kind of like, you're cheating a little bit.
Are you talking about like the 70,000 points that were retired for being able to have subfolders in the reports and dashboards?
Yes. Retiring points that you didn't build originally in your own software, so then became a thing that people voted on to have points.
Shouldn't there just not be ideas that are there for long enough to accumulate 70,000 points, considering every vote is only worth 10?
That's a lot.
That's 7,000 people voting for that.
Users, hackers. I mean, I have at least 1,700 logins, so I mean,
I have bots that vote up all of my ideas every 2 days.
I mean, I'm still trying to get them to put the share button, or the back to list button.
Back to list is your crusade.
Oh, give me that.
And demystifying process errors, because it's always fun when those process errors pop up and then you get that email as an admin that's like, flow variable interview start.
So good stuff that I like about what Salesforce is doing Lightning is that, you've mentioned it before, I've mentioned it before, that I really appreciate when they take a feature that they didn't have. Okay, so they built Lightning, the feature's not there. They didn't port the feature. Then instead of just porting it straight, they port it plus.
Yeah, they make it better.
That's fine. And
I like that.
That's good.
They ruined something for me though.
But when they
summer 18,
I'll
bring it up in a minute.
All right, when they take things, they bring them over to Lightning, and they make them. I feel like when the UI makes it more difficult to do things that I used to do very quickly, that's when I get irritated. And I actually have either two blogs coming up. One, Lightning annoyances, top five of Lightning annoyances.
No, I told you to do 10.
No, then there's 10 top missing features that I will have to stay in Classic for. And that's another one. But like, for example, a simple one.
You're gonna give me one.
All right.
I hope you give it to me because I'm gonna tell you why I don't like it.
Okay, which
they
one?
made a change that I don't like.
Okay, which one? What's changed?
The list views on the tasks.
Oh, you don't like that?
I hate it.
Why?
Because the old view is better.
What?
The way that it worked prior to summer 18 was better. They should go back to that and allow you to just make your own versions of the lists. Because now the lists they don't make sense the way that they display.
Well, be a little bit.
All right, so let's start from the top. So there's a tasks tab.
Let me switch to Lightning while we do that.
Go for it. There's a tasks tab. There's also a homepage component if your administrator has been so kind to put the tasks component on the homepage. And you can click like view all or view more or whatever and get to essentially what is the tasks tab.
Yep.
Once you're there, prior to summer 18, it was a little limited in what you could do. It had just predefined lists, like the same ones that are in Classic, like overdue, all tasks, today, today plus overdue, etc. But the way that it loaded them was really smart because it just loaded a third of a page on the left, and then you'd click on it and it would load the body of the tag of the task to the right.
That's called the split view.
The split view, right. Which was the default. Now there's still the split view.
Great.
But the sort on it is so off. You cannot tell if something's overdue anymore visually. You used to be able to just see, very simply, here's my overdue tasks because they're in red. Now it's really difficult, and they don't sort in the right order. And when you complete one, they don't go away. Like, it used to be you'd mark something checked off, and then it would be strucken through. It got harder to actually understand the page. It used to be very simple, And
it just needed custom views.
It just needed to be able to make your own views.
And what they've done is they've created...
They just turned it into like an object, but its tasks are different. They're worked differently than like an object would work. I'm not a fan of it.
So where's your idea to bring that back?
I can't. They've gone too far.
No.
I got to think about how to make the split view better. Because it's the split view that's the winner. Kanban on tasks is not relevant. Because not a lot of people, in my opinion, use tasks and statuses. And that would be the only thing that you would ever Kanban on. I don't like the regular list view because they're tasks. I want to see more data. I love the split view because what it does is it kind of takes the concept of a console and just puts it into this split view where you see the name of the task on one side and the rest of the info on the right, which is super useful. And you can just sort of go between them and mark them and then do like a quick action for creating a follow-up. And it all worked really, really well until they kind of screwed it up. So I'll have to think through the idea and have to think through how to make the split view better by turning it almost back to what it used to be.
Right. Well, here's my...
You don't use it.
I don't use tasks.
But I do. Yeah, so as a heavy user of them, they've made my life a little bit harder.
Well, you know what I use a lot? Reports. You know what I used to do a lot in reports?
Go back to Classic?
No. Well, now I do. Filter on dates. Change the dates. I'm looking at like sales this week, sales last week, things this week, that last week. And you used to be able to just quickly, because it was at the top, just change and hit run. Change, run. Change, run. Like It was 2 clicks. Now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's 6 clicks to change the date range of a report. Like, to me, that's the stuff I just don't understand how they got out of like a design meeting where they said, okay, so this is 2 clicks now. Let's see if we can make it 3 times as many clicks. Like, let's see, is 6 clicks enough? I don't understand. I don't understand why they didn't just build. I know they like the things coming in and left and right and making it cleaner looking, but when you make something that I do all the time into thousands more clicks, that really irritates me. But there's good stuff. Mm-hmm. How about some good stuff? Give me another good one. The email stuff is amazing. The
list emails?
The list emails.
List emails have gotten way better.
Yep.
And being able to do it from campaign is important.
And even the thing that they did with the organizing reports in folders, you now can do subfolders. Folders and folders.
Well, yeah,
and folders
the
and
subfolders
folders
is the big one.
Right. But you couldn't even create folders in Lightning like a release ago. So they give you folders, and they give you subfolders, and you can favorite folders.
Yeah.
Favorite report folders.
Yeah. Favoriting is a really key navigational element.
I think they need to do more with it, though, because the more I use it, the more I'm like, I only feel like 3 or 4 favorites, and then it kind of gets useless below that. So I use like 3 dashboards that I just constantly go between. But after that, I wouldn't favorite more than that.
I'm a big fan of favorites.
How many favorites do you have currently in your org?
I gotta go look.
Yeah.
Does it give you a number?
Yeah, no, but it gives you the edit favorites and then shows you a bunch. I
have a ton. I don't even know. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Whatever. What else happened in summer?
15 of them. Most of them they're either list views or reports. And then 2 dashboards.
We also get mass quick actions. I think we talked about this in one of your favorite things.
It was one of my favorite things coming, and then I said, we need a whole blog post right now.
About it. That's somebody super cool. Did. What else do we get? Let's see. Oh, dragging and dropping calendar stuff. That's nice. I find I use the calendar in Lightning so much more because you can build calendars for other people and then show and hide them, and then throw in like campaigns. So I'll have campaigns, and then I'll overlay like your calendar, so I can see what campaigns are going on, what you're doing, and what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. I think it's really nice the way they've done that. Like I've been using that
calendar for a while.
Yeah,
because we sync our calendars.
Yes, we do.
So for me, even though it seems odd, because in Google Calendar you can just look at everybody's availability, I don't like having everyone's calendar in my Google account. So I have everybody's calendar as an individual calendar in Salesforce. So when I go to the calendar tab, if I need to schedule something, I'll just check off a couple people and see if I could schedule something. I know that's weird to be doing in Salesforce, but it's how I'm using it.
It is a little weird. And they also released the Lightning Adoption Usage app.
Yeah, I looked at it. Needs work.
Those are the ones I just like. Why is someone...
Needs work.
There's no share button, but there's this whole app.
Do you know what's the worst?
You know what that's doing, though? You know what that's using? That's using the usage API. I'm pretty sure.
You know what's the worst?
What's the worst?
When you're in Lightning Experience,
Yes.
and then a pop-up says, do you want to try Lightning Experience?
They actually... You should read it.
Do you want to get some you want to get some feedback?
Yeah.
And it's like, not applicable here. Tell us why. Because I'm in Lightning already.
Right.
You should know this about me. I am in Lightning.
It's in better in Lightning, or Lightning's just turned on. I honestly just don't understand why Salesforce didn't learn their lesson with the notification banner, which, by the way, still exists as a feature. Like, how is this still a feature? I logged in someone's org the other day and I saw it. I'm like, seriously? How is this still a thing? Like, I just don't understand how the annoyances, they don't get that as a tool to constantly be in my face and annoying me with stuff that's not relevant to what I'm doing in my work. It's like, it's just bad UI. It's bad business practice. It's bad user experience. It's bad customer experience.
I just trained a group of users for a couple days, and they were in Classic. And in Classic, on the homepage, as long as chatter's turned on, there's like a bunch of recommendations. And it's just sitting there.
Yeah.
And it confuses people. Because some of them are not like, follow this person. Some of them are like, download the mobile app. Make chatter better. Download the mobile app. It's like, huh?
Yeah.
What?
What mobile app?
What are you talking about?
I mean, even in Classic, they always had the Discover button thing on the homepage that I...
Discover Summer 18.
I hate.
Still there.
I hate that, too. I wish there's some of these
It's just
things that...
stuff that admin should be able to turn off and on.
Let me turn it off.
Yeah, one or the other.
What else? Anything else? Or is that enough?
Well, I mean, there's a couple more
things that we love,
like, little
and things
things
that annoy us.
Badges are coming to communities, which is cool. So thanks badges, like work.com thanks badges, which means I guess they'll be coming to Lightning soon. Because if they're coming to communities, they're coming to Lightning.
Yes, and you mentioned that on the last podcast.
I didn't.
Yep.
I did not.
Get to do.
No, I might have said that sentence where the communities are always ahead of the Lightning experience,
and thanks
but
badges.
not about the badges.
Yeah, you did.
So we've done a podcast since the release notes have been out?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Cool.
We did one all in summer. We're just kind of covering a couple things we didn't cover since.
Okay.
Welcome to the CloudFocus Weekly. Wait, hold on. There it is again. There's your knowledge about how much we talk about on the podcast. All right.
So somebody, I should shout out. Amy Butch-Farrow. She didn't write a blog post on this yet, but I think she's going to. There's a component that is a standard component that came out, the accordion component.
Yes.
And she's working on a project where accessibility is extremely important. And because the accordion will take the detail of a page and basically create headers out of like each section of a page, it makes it way easier to navigate for screen readers.
That's great.
So accordion component for the win.
I do like accordion. I put it on a couple page layouts, but I was like, it's very, very similar to sections. It's just you can put more into it.
More.
Yes, because it's not.
But now it allows
based.
to like, because you could drop the detail in, so then you have header and subheader, and then you can drop more things into each of the components.
And we say this every time, and I'll say this again. I'm very concerned that the ability, with the great power of Lightning and all you can do on a Lightning page, I'm very concerned to log into an org in like a year and find the worst Lightning page I've ever seen in my life with like 300 tabs, 600 accordion, data like everywhere, and you just won't know where you are or what you're even looking at. It can be extremely confusing. Again, more now than ever as admins, I think Salesforce has really got to take some of the money that they're spending on Lightning adoption packages and spend it on best practices and usability studies on building Lightning pages. We've come up with a standard, but I want them to spend more time on it because I feel like you can do some really terrible things.
I've seen some really cool things.
Yeah, cool is cool, but terrible, like, I've seen what users do. We talked about this last time. I've seen users do some really, really terrible things to pages, but you can now make it 10 times worse. You can hide stuff that, like, should be available. You can make things disappear. You can bring up data that maybe shouldn't even be where you are. It can be totally confusing to end users. So, like, there's all this function. I just wish they'd put out best practices. Like, don't use more than 7 tabs, let's say, or don't put these types of things in accordions, or don't put more than 5 charts on a page, or whatever. They should just have something so we could kind of better build these pages, so we don't all have to be UX experts, like you are.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's enough complaining and love for Lightning. Why don't we do talk about next time. So next time on our summer series, we're going to do another GTD summer series. I think we're doing 4 podcasts.
Is that the plan?
Over
4.
And
4.
4. And it's all going to be about GTD. It's going to be fun, exciting. So that's what we're going to do. To have no picks during those. They're just going to be sort of interesting topics. We're going to take on one topic per, and then we're going to do a Q&A episode. So we'll do that next week. But for now, why don't we get and talk about our pick of the week? What's your pick of the week? I just found mine.
Well, you got to pick the Fox Sports FIFA app because the World Cup's going on.
Yep.
You might be traveling. You might not be home where you can watch it. You might not even be at a bar where you can watch it. But with the Fox Sports FIFA app, you can watch live and get all the highlights. And Fox has pretty much made it so that they're the only place where you can see the highlights. You know, tune into SportsCenter. You're not seeing video highlights of anything. It's just not happening. They don't have it.
Really?
Really.
ESPN doesn't have access to that?
Just Fox.
Wow.
They have all the things. So tune into SportsCenter. You don't have World Cup highlights.
They'll just say, here's what happened? Or
this
they won't
is
even
the
mention
score.
it?
That's it.
Wow.
This is the score. This is it. Maybe they'll talk about it a little bit, but they cannot show moving images.
I don't know if that's good. I feel like if you want to
You own the rights, you own the rights. That's
Yeah,
that.
but
Fox
the NFL
paid a lot of money for it.
They pay a lot of money for NFL too, but once the NFL game is over, everybody can use the highlights.
Right, but they can't show highlights
While
while a game is going on.
That's true.
So the NFL still does it a little bit. Like NBC has at night, they have it starting at 8 o'clock.
That's
no
correct.
one else can be playing any NFL stuff.
But as soon as that game's over, ESPN can show highlights, CBS can show highlights.
Because they've all paid for it.
Yeah.
They've all paid for the right to do that.
To do the highlights.
To do all of those things. To own their footage. To license their footage, I guess.
Yeah.
But in this case, Fox is the only one.
You would
single
think
bid.
that FIFA would be the owner of the thing and license it out so that
And they've
ESPN
only done it for Fox in English for America and to another, I think it's either Telemundo, must be Telemundo or I guess it's them.
All right,
or
so what's your
Univision. It's the FIFA app. Go get it. If you care about the World Cup, you should have it already.
Who are you rooting for?
Uruguay and Belgium.
Both who have won, so you're doing well.
Yeah.
Not England?
England will be...
Who do you have in your final?
I have Belgium winning it all.
Against?
I have Belgium beating Croatia.
Oof, that's a strange one. Croatia's still in it? They're playing Thursday, I think.
Croatia won their round of 16 already.
Oh, they already did.
So they're through to the quarters.
I had Spain.
My bracket's looking good.
I had Spain and Brazil, with Spain winning, and Spain's out.
You're not going to win.
I'm not going to win. Although
no jelly beans for you.
I'm currently ahead of you in time.
Yeah,
but it's not
if you look at...
I know. The most points. I know.
I actually have the most of those.
I saw. I was sorted on it this morning. Yes, Justin and I gamble for jelly beans. All right. I'm going to make my pick. So I'm doing a little construction on my house. and I've been doing lots of research. I could make my picks of the week for the next 2 years. Everything I'm like doing, little things I'm purchasing. I just thought this was a fun one. You actually made the suggestion when I was going to do some electrical. You're like, you should make sure in every one of your sockets you put the ones with the double, with the USB. So now in a regular socket you have the 2 sockets, and now you can put ones that have USB. So I went and researched it, and I'm like, okay, I found one with 3. So it had the 2 sockets and 3 USB, and then I found one with 2. And I found one with 1 socket and 4. I found all these different variations. But this one company makes a bunch. Top Greeners is the name of the company. They're not too expensive. They're like $15. But they had one they have one that's split. So they have one that's regular USB, the old school USB that everybody has. They also have one that's USB-C. Because I'm figuring USB-C is becoming more and more. People are using it, and I have a lot of Apple devices. It also charges, I think, twice as fast because it's a higher rate ampage. So anyway, that's what I'm picking. I'm picking a socket. I'm going to read it off just because it's funny. The Top Greener TU whatever high-speed USB charger receptacle TA5 tamper-resistant outlet. That's what I'm picking.
Great.
You can
Let's call that USB outlets.
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon. Again, company's Top Greener. It seems pretty interesting. I'll let you know when I have them all installed whether they work or not.
We're happy.
But people come into your house and they need it, or
yeah.
And a lot of things are now just running off USB as their power source. So you're constantly needing to find one of those little dongles.
A plug.
Yeah. And now you're like, oh, I don't need it. So anyway, I'm gonna put them everywhere.
We're pretty happy that we have made that decision.
You did them in your bedroom, right?
Our bedrooms, that we didn't have to have like all these
right.
Basically, it eliminates the need for, especially next to like a night table, for having like a surge protector in there. To plug in like 3 things for all the things you're charging overnight: your phone, your watch, maybe your iPad, your whatever that Amazon thing is that you read books on.
Kindle.
I don't read books, so I don't know.
All right, let's get out of here.
Is that what it's called, a Kindle? Thank you.
Let's get out of here. All right, so that's next week again. We'll be heading into the GTD Summer Series, but we'll see it since we're back. And we got to get to these. We got to get up to 300 before September 20, or 299 before September 27th at Dreamforce. It's Justin and Jason, as always, saying enjoy those cloudy days.